tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum Explosion, #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Black and joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to talk about PlayStation. You know, big week, big game coming out this week.
Yep.
It's like Cars,
yeah. Gran Turismo 7 is out on Friday? Yeah? Or was it Thursday? No. Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Doing it live. We don't have it. Didn't ask for it though, to be fair. I still want to play it, but I'm like, I've got so much other shit to do. So I wasn't like, I'm not going to try and find time to review that shit. I'm keen though, I will say. If I can get time to at least give it a little bit of a go. Looks pretty. I'd like to dive in, be like, oh, pretty. And then, put it on the shelf and come back to it after other things. Namely, Horizon Fordbieen West, which I've got more to say about this week because I've actually played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I played it last week, but I feel like I've played enough now that I have some actual thoughts.
Actual opinions, yeah.
Yeah, actual opinions. But I mean, not much news to go through this week, so we'll just speak about Horizon and then dive into a couple of news pieces. Mainly the PS Plus rumor things. We could be in the last month of PlayStation Plus as you know it. What? Apparently. So we'll get back to that. But Horizon Fordbieen West. So I don't know. I think I'm nearly 10 hours in now. Maybe. Somewhere around that, probably. I think maybe 9 to 10 hours. So going all right. I've caught up to, from what I can gather, obviously we're still dodging spoilers because presumably people are still playing the game. We're still playing the game, etc., etc., etc. But from what I'm pretty sure I'm up to the same, or I've done the last main mission that Ash has. Ash has played the game a bit more than me. And we're talking about it on our couch or after our couch. I don't remember what's a podcast and what's not the podcast. But I am half mainlining it without doing I'm not rushing it, but I'm doing less side stuff than you are. So, but I'm definitely not trying to just main quest to main quest to main quest to just tick this box, tick the game out of my life, and say I've done it sort of thing. I'm just doing a little bit as I need to finish the game, and then again, as I said last week, I can then come back to a lot of the side stuff where I just feel like it'll be either locked or I can do everything probably easier after the fact because I'll still want to go for the plot, of course, so
yeah. I think that's a fair way to play it. I think you could definitely play it that way, where you're mostly doing main missions, but if you stumble across a side quest or whatever on the way,
I'm just not going way out of my way to.
You're not you're not avoiding the tall necks and discovering the entire rest of the map for yourself. No, is what you're saying.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
no.
I'm purposely going to tall necks because tall necks are important. So if I see them, I can do them. Apart from the one I wasted maybe 15 minutes.
It's locked.
Yeah,
so I saw I
Googled
a video.
I Googled
it. I did watch here's 10 things you should do when you start Horizon. It's there's a tall neck that's locked. If it says it's locked, don't bother. Yeah,
so this is I don't know if anyone's seen this. There's a tall neck. It's probably it would be the second one you come across.
The second one, yeah.
In the game, and it's in a wide open plain area, a rocky terrain. I guess there's cliffs surrounding it. And at first, I thought maybe you're supposed to climb up to a high point and just glide down yourself or something like that. And I gave that a go. You don't get anywhere near it. And then I was like, what the fuck are you supposed to do here? Because this is just dumb. And Aloy wasn't giving me any hints, because she usually talks to herself a million times anyway. But she wasn't oh.
She did for me. She said,
oh, really?
There's no way I can get up that.
Yeah, but she says it to everyone. Just when you're looking at their legs, she's like, oh, I can't climb those. Blah, 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 blah. And I mean, she said that even with the one I just did. The one I did, the third one was the one in the forest, where there's a...
Oh, okay. I haven't done that one.
Okay, so have you done different to me then? Somewhere else, I guess, maybe. How many have you done?
One to more the south in the desert.
So you've done 2?
I've done 3, but one of them's a secret one.
Okay, right. So I've done 2. I think there's 6 in the game or something from what I can understand. So, which makes sense because they open up big chunks of the map. I know the map's big, but obviously they do default quite a bit. It's not like Assassin's Creed where they just do the couple streets surrounding it. But yeah, even that one where I did, it's like in this forest, and you've got to sort of make your way up to get onto it. But I scanned the legs there. It's like, oh, I can't get on those. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I can clearly see what I'm supposed to do though, which is get up to here somehow and then get on top of it. But yeah, that one I wasted probably 15 minutes trying to figure it out. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't want to waste time with this shit. So I just Googled. I'm like, I think I opened the map and looked at where I was or whatever, and I just typed in like,
Tallneck.
yeah, I was like Tallneck, blah, and the first Google result was locked until story mission or something. I'm like, fucking whatever. Back to life. All right, so Horizon though, Forbidden West, I'll put it out there. This is my hot take for the week. I'm enjoying. Yeah, I have some Horizon hot takes. Crazy. Who thought? I actually so far, put an asterisk on so far. I think the story in this is least interesting than the first game. Like, I probably care, and I've always said that the story in the first game was like, whatever, like, you know, it's fine, nothing great. But I would say I'm least interested in the story in this than even the first game. To a degree, I still think world's cool. When big story stuff happens, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I cannot find a fuck to give about half the side characters in this game, to be honest. And which is bad, I feel, because the game is obviously leaning towards the main crux being Aloy sort of. The game opens, she's like, I do everything myself. And you can tell the game's whole thing is going to be gather all your allies, and Aloy learns to ask for help or, whatever, and like team up with people or whatever. And I'm like, man, a couple of these characters, their relationships entirely reliant on you remembering what happened to them in the first game, to which I barely remember. Like, I'm like, yes, Mustachio guy was in first game. That's all I remember. Like, I remember he was in it, but I'm like, do I care about this dude? I have fucking no idea. And then some other characters I meet, like, I'm like, oh no, Zoe seems cool. I guess it's probably my favorite new character in the game. Everyone else, I don't fucking care. And all these other characters, I'm going, I don't care. I'm like speed reading text sometimes, like instead of watching cutscenes, I'm just like, blah, 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 whatever. I don't fucking care. Get out of here. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm having a hard time caring about this stuff. Now, every now and then, you do like a big mission, right? I'm not spoilers, but how do I say about spoilers? When you do like the first major thing, like the major villains, I guess, of the game introduced. That's not spoiler, is it? Not really.
No, I don't think so.
They are like, that's a cool thing. And then shortly after that, they explain something else that you were led to believe from the first game that they made sure to include in the opening previously on Horizon sort of thing. And they're like, oh, this thing didn't happen the way you thought it did, and that's probably why these people are over here doing the thing. I was like, that's kind of cool. And now I straight away have high hopes for where this game ends and what happens in Horizon 3 already. And I haven't even finished it, but I'm just like, yeah, let's go wild. Like, that's all cool. And the general, again, I think the world's probably the most interesting thing so far. I'm really looking forward to finally getting to Las Vegas. I haven't got there yet, but, because obviously that's a heavy part of the marketing and all that sort of stuff, where they had the water parts there and the sunken city, sort of thing. Like, I'm keen to get there. I'm drawing.
I don't think that's Las Vegas.
Is it? Wasn't it Las Vegas? I thought that was the thing.
It's probably like San Francisco.
Was it?
Las Vegas is in the middle of a desert.
Yeah, but I thought that was I don't know. But I thought that's the thing. It's flooded. No? I thought that's what people online were saying. Like, they're like, oh, it's Las Vegas.
Could be. I don't know. I haven't gone that far south.
No, never mind. I thought that was the going sort of theory or whatever. I don't know. Find out. Anyway, the big city that they show in the...
I don't know geography that well, so...
Yeah, I don't know America. So, but the big city they show in all the trailers and stuff like that. And then, what was I going to say? The other thing that's been shit me off. Gathering sticks. I'm fucking over it, hey. Gathering, picking up berries. It's less picking them up, and it's more the fact that there's an animation tied to it that's pissing me off, is what I decided. When I was playing it the other night...
slow down, stop.
When I was playing it the other night, I was like, what is it that's annoying me about it? Is it the fact that I have to gather stuff in this game, or is it the way the game does it? And I decided it's the way the game does it. It's the fact that I just think they should have got rid of the animation, and maybe that would annoy people.
Surely, I haven't played around with the accessibility options. But there could possibly be a way that it's like auto pickup.
It's less auto pickup. I'm just happy to run past and press triangle. I just don't want her to stop and do an animation every time because it just annoys me. It's that little bit of slowdown, and it gets a little bit tedious, you know. Especially when I actually ran out of berries.
Dylan, it's realistic. That's the important.
I don't need it. It's fucking robot dinosaur game. I don't need realistic. Anyway, that's like maybe a nitpicky thing, but it is something that was like I did notice the other day that was sort of annoying me. Otherwise, the gameplay's still Horizon. I don't feel like so far anything like major. I mean, I finally fought one of those elephant things that we saw in the trailer, right? I fought my first one of those as part of the story mission. That was a story mission, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a story mission. And that was cool. That was a fight. I think I died like 5 times on it before I finally beat the motherfucker. So I like, and I think 3 of those deaths was because it was just like charged at me and I was trying to run away and I couldn't run away fast enough and it just like insta-killed me.
It's pretty big. It's hard to avoid.
It just like insta-killed me in one attack. I was like, fucking Jesus Christ. So that was cool. That was like a actual hard fight and that was sort of thing. I haven't really had too much else that I would say differentiates this from the first game. Like the combat's still good. Like the combat is the thing I like the most about the first game. But I would say so far there's nothing that I'm like, it's just more of the same so far. There's like a little bit more of a variety in weapons. You've got like you get more stuff that's like this is a fire bow, this is a nice bow. I don't know, you know, certain shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm not changing it up too much to be honest. I mean, I've got like one ice thing and one fire thing on me and one. I end up using half the time. I'm using the I'll just shoot a bunch of the poison arrows at something. So like degrades their armor or whatever, and then get in there with one of the the slower pulling ones, but they like do a fuck ton more sort of damage if you hit weak spots.
Sharpshooter or whatever,
and then I've got like the armor on that does more damage to weak spots, and it has like plus 10% if you shoot while you're using concentration, and then I put another rune on it that's like plus 10% concentration, so it's like plus 20 30% or whatever it adds up to concentration damage on weak spots. So I mean it's there's stuff here, but world's big, world's large, it's fun to explore. I don't mind everything. I'm just like I'm struggling with the story at times. I just gotta be honest. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll be back here next week after, whenever I'll finish the game. I'm like, man, the ending was awesome. But I mean, even if I say that, I feel like it would be wrong for me not to be like, man, like I love the ending and those last couple of hours, but there was a period of there where I was struggling. So you know what I mean? But yeah, how are you going? What's your current Horizon update?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I don't have too much of an issue with the story. I'm enjoying it as it goes along. Even though I don't remember the side characters, I'm enjoying them so far. Like Owen and Zol and Zoe and Val.
Zoe is literally the only character I can remember. Who are the other ones? Which one is which?
Val is the one banging Zoe.
Oh, Val's the one banging Zoe. Right, okay. Yeah. That can make sense.
It's so obvious. Yeah. Just like, it is fun. It's fun. And then Owen's like mustachio dude.
Yeah, mustachio dude. Okay.
I'm enjoying like some of the discoveries you get along the way. Like there's obviously you figure out what your mission is like halfway, like a couple hours in, and then you open up a special village or whatever. That's kind of your hub for the rest of the game, which we didn't know about, which is kind of cool. I'm finding like all the different tribes kind of interesting and like the theology and how they've adapted to the world since obviously coming back into the world out of the machine world or whatever with no history of the world and how they've all kind of adapted in different ways and that kind of stuff is really interesting to me anyway. I'm enjoying that aspect and lots of fun side stories and like little, like nothing like amazing or like nothing on the level of the Yukio story from Ghost of Tsushima. Remember that one? Yeah, nothing like that yet, but maybe. But yeah, I don't think I'm too much further ahead of you because I've been
doing more side stuff.
Doing all
what
side
level
stuff
are you? Do you know, like roughly what character level are you at? Oh, you've got the game over literally right next to you, motherfucker.
32.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm like 21, 22. So yeah, it's like we're roughly the same story part, but you're like 10 levels above me.
Yeah.
But I'm like several levels above usually I'm several levels above the recommended level. So surely that means you're like just flying through the campaign missions.
The main missions, yeah, I'm a bit above. But
Yeah.
A lot of the side stuff is like pretty high.
Yeah. I mean, I came across a side thing. I was going to do it because it was like
Even some of
right
like
near
the
me,
monsters and stuff, like
they're really high. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
That said,
thunders and
I've
shit,
taken
like,
down some shit that's like level 30 or whatever. I just like brute force my way
Just
through
time,
it. Just
yeah.
die a couple times.
time
I also
consuming.
did a camp. The game also made it easier because I swear it like checkpointed myself like halfway through it or something because I died.
Yeah, I think some of the checkpointing is quite good.
Very forgiving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I went into this camp and it said camp level, and at the time I was maybe level 18, and it said the camp levels suggested like 26 or something. I was like, I'll give it a go because I haven't had a go at one of the camps before, so I was like, give it a go. Go in, take down a few dudes. Next second, giant fucking fireball bomb thing gets launched at me from, I guess, some goon on a tower somewhere or whatever. Like insta kills me. I'm like, okay, well, that's that. Won't have another go. But then when I load back in at the campfire just down the road, my dino, which I led into the camp, is still having to go fighting people, and the few I'd killed was still dead. So I was like, all right,
Dead. Okay,
I'll
well,
give it another go. Give it another go. But I had to like really brute force myself. I mean, I had to sneak in, take a couple dudes, run away, hide, wait for the whoever saw me to go away, sneak back in, blah blah blah. Because anytime someone saw me, they were so high level, I was just like getting like they throw one thing at me, I'll die.
No,
So
you just need to invest in your infiltrator
why? What's that?
skill tree.
Oh, so,
Makes you less visible.
okay. I put most of my skills into
Hunter.
No, the combat shit, so I could just get that shit out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Because I know I need them all you need to unlock all those abilities to do the actual trials.
It's super easy. If you do the skill, if you
do
a
shit ton
the
of
side
skill
quests, I've got 29 unused at the moment.
Yeah.
I just noticed.
There's a lot of skill points in this game, so that's why I wasn't too worried.
Too concerned? Yeah.
Because I know, like in the first game, the main thing I leveled up first was all the resources stuff. You know, so you got more from picking up stuff and whatever else. So that's probably where I'll end up filling out next. But yeah, I put a bunch into the melee combat because I wanted to have the skills unlocked to do the melee things, whatever they're called,
attacks,
the melee pits. You know what I mean? So when you come to those, it's like, here's the challenges, but if you don't have the move unlocked, you can't do the moves. Like, you can't do the challenges unless you've got the moves unlocked.
Yeah.
So I did those first, or like a mix of that with some other things, just so I could have some of those going. Or I had some skill points always sitting there, so if I found one, I could do those. I'll tell you what, though, the last one I did was kind of a pain in the ass. Like, it's not like super complicated, but some of the combos they make you do in those challenges, they're like, do this R2, L1, R2, pause, hold
we all
R1,
know you hate fighting
R2,
games,
put.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I do hate fighting games. So I'm pro at ones that don't involve sticks, which this game does, spears. And Sekiro had a stick in it too, so that's the problem. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of where I'm up to. Very pretty. Haven't had any technical issues. That recent patch,
I did have one technical issue where I got stuck under, like, I had to blow something up while I was underwater. So I blew it up, and it seemed like all the rubble landed on top of me. So I was stuck underground,
do you have
under
to
the
reload
water.
to save?
Yeah. Well, no, I drowned. So
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm enjoying the game. I definitely like, you know, I'm nowhere near a 10 out of 10, but that I'm I'm also not like a 6 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I'm somewhere in the middle there, is where I would currently say my thoughts on the game so far are. But still got a little while to go, of course. Although I feel like I'm nearly halfway through the story. I feel like, well, we've both been. Do you reckon we're like halfway?
How many subsystems have you collected?
I think I'm about to head towards the 3rd.
Interesting. Okay, that's ahead of me. I've only collected one.
Oh, you've only got one. Okay, yeah, I've got 2. I've locked 2. I think.
Wait,
no, 1.
Not including Gaia.
No, not including Gaia. Gaia is doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
Yeah. So one more after that, and then I've got one more after that, and now I'm heading to another one.
Okay, so you're onto your second
Yes.
subsystem after Gaia.
Yeah, so we're at the same place, right? Yeah.
Have you gotten the fifth person in your base?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like I was like thinking about it, I'm like, sure, this is like nearing halfway, I'd say, story wise.
Potentially, yeah.
Like doing maths on what you got to potentially collect and do. trying to sort of work it out, I guess. Yeah. We'll talk more about Horizon again next week, I'm sure. Who knows? One of us could have finished it.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Who knows?
I'm looking forward to the spoilercast. I think it'll be interesting, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, there's some really, like I said, like without trying to spoil it, I was saying there's some stuff, like there was some cool story beats in here that I'm already like, wow, that was really cool. And then the other characters that were introduced, I'm like, well, they're really cool. But yeah, it's just as I say, like you were saying before about the tribe stuff, the major tribe where it's like they had the head dude, you had the like they've got all they've got all those, what do they call them? Like they had the
holograms.
Yeah, the holograms. That was cool. Like them like talking about those and like, oh, the ancestors give us all this. Like that was a cool thing. But then it's just some of the other ones where I'm like, they have a little less attention, and I'm just like, no, I don't really care. Like after them, you head off to the Sky Clan group or whatever. You know, I'm like, I don't care for yous at all. Like, I care for the one dude, I guess, but I don't know his name. But I was like, yeah, you're all right, I guess. But otherwise, whatever, don't care. All right, let's get into some news for this week. Press Start writes, new PlayStation Plus service will apparently heavily feature classic games and is close to launching. Speaking to Grubsnacks, VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb has gone on to reveal some more information about that coming PlayStation Plus relaunch, which is codenamed Project Spartacus, which I thought was the name of the Xbox console, but was it Scorpio? I think maybe. This service will apparently have 3 tiers, including Essential, Extra, and Premium, while the most expensive being $16 USD a month, which is roughly 22 Australian dollars. It's reported that the Essential service will practically be what it is now, providing access to online play on PlayStation 4 and PS5. Extra will apparently offer the downloadable games that are part of the PlayStation Now collection, roughly 300 games, whilst the Premium tier will offer full game trials as well as classic games and streaming. It's not clear what this means, but it's likely that we'll see a number of PS1, PS2, PS3 games either streamed or downloadable and emulated. As far as full game trials goes, it sounds like this will be a lot more for AAA games, including PlayStation first parties. As transcribed by VGC, Grubb said that the service was very close to launching. Quote, it's probably getting pretty close to this actually launching. Something's probably going to happen by the end of this month. I don't think that necessarily means publicly. I think in the terms of internal milestone of where the service needs to be. End quote. It's likely that we'll hear about Project Spartacus at some point this year, and obviously we'll let you know as soon as we do. And then just like as an add-on to that, a lot of I've like been reading a bit more, digging and stuff, and people reckon that Sony wants to launch this before the end of the physical year, or like start the next physical year with this fiscal FISCAL.
Years aren't physical.
Yeah. Fiscal.
Okay, you said physical.
Oh, let's get fiscal.
I mean, maybe if these years got more physical and worked out, they wouldn't be so shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fucking take that. I've seen people saying that Sony would probably want to launch it before the end of, or like directly at the start of the fiscal year. Which would make sense, I guess, for as far as like business-wise stuff goes. But yeah, what do you make of that? The 3 tiers. Which do you think they're good tiers? Which one do you reckon you would end up sticking on?
I think it makes sense. It sounds right. I guess I would probably most likely be on that middle tier,
extra,
depending on, because I'm one of those people. I don't look back. It's all forwards. And if you could just probably just bump up your plan if you wanted to.
Yeah, do something.
Like, man, I really want to play some random PS1 game for a month or whatever. I mean, free game trials could be good if it's like stuff that's just about to come out, or like a lot of like regular games. You get like full I don't know, 4 or 5 hour plays of that kind of thing. I guess we'll wait and see, but that's the biggest draw to me out of that top premium one. I mean, even the second tier, it's like, do I really need it? It's like, obviously we got so many games coming out that are new. There's like, and so many other things you're able to do. It's like, am I ever going to play any of this giant list of games on PS Now? I don't know.
I feel like I'd end up subscribing for the top tier at first just to try it out and then like downgrade accordingly. In comparison, I would say as far as like getting your money's worth goes, so paying for like Game Pass a year, in my head it justifies you only really need to play one major release that's on Game Pass for it to sort of pay for itself. You know what I mean? Because it costs whatever. I don't actually remember. But let's say it costs $100. I think it's less than that a year, but let's say
it's like 120,
something like that. But it's like if you pay one major release, 2 major releases, you've sort of covered what you probably would have cost to buy those games anyway. You know, like as far as justifying the money, let alone like the random indie things that you could drop into and drop out of. So if the PlayStation thing could have a similar thing, and I mean, maybe I'd end up just leaving it on the top service, and then if I don't actually use it for anything after like maybe 6 months, be like, yeah, like probably not doing it. But it's one of those things, especially if they have a cheaper option where it's like, hey, if you pay for a yearly subscription of the top tier, you get it, 20% less than if you pay month by month. Sometimes
then you give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go sort of thing. And then if the next year rolls around, I'm like, that was probably a waste of $50 or then I'll be like, rip, because I only played like one thing and I could have probably paid less. So, but we'll see. But I do think it's a good move. I do think it's sort of exciting that PlayStation's going to revamp PlayStation Plus and do something new with it and whatever else. And, obviously I'm secretly hoping that this launching ties in with the PlayStation Now in Australia thing and, or whatever, the million times we talk about that bloody secret place in Adelaide.
Yep. this secret covert PlayStation group in Adelaide working on something.
I'm like obsessed, like a tinfoil hat person, I feel.
You desperately need the money you spent on
I need the money I wasted on that fucking newspaper subscription to be worth it. And I mean, I did dive back in last year. I mean, I went digging around, remember, on the LinkedIn pages and whatever else. And so shit's happening. Hopefully it's tied into this, but we shall see. But yeah, I reckon this is only a couple months away from what the word on the street is. Could only be a couple months away before we see a launch. And it's not like a console or anything, it's just when the service is ready, when it's ready, it's ready. Maybe they want to tie it. Obviously, they may want to launch it at a specific time. But as far as like, they don't need to get it in people's hands.
I would, If it was me, and obviously your big thing is free trials of games, like is a premium feature. I would have thought, let's get it launched with Ghostwire Tokyo, because that seems like a game that people need to have a try out before they buy it.
Yeah. So that's end of next month. Or end of this month, right?
Make the game trial get to a point where it's really interesting, and then people have to buy it from like, ooh, how's the story go from here?
25th of March this month.
Unlikely, to be honest.
Just double checking what's...
But if they had been planning better, that would be the go, I think.
Or else God of War could be like...
Everybody's going to buy God of War. There's no need to tie it in.
That's true. Good point. Polygon says PlayStation 5 players will finally get to share clips via the PS5 app. So this is finally officially actually happening now. PlayStation 5 users will be getting more flexibility in how they can share their game captures, according to an announcement made by Wednesday by Sony. The console manufacturer announced that it is gradually rolling out the ability to share your PS5 game captures through the PS app in more regions. Americas are up first, with more countries next month. The PS app allows users to scroll through clips, watch them, download them to a mobile device, and easily post them to social media. It does not require PlayStation Plus membership to use. Sony clarified in a FAQ following the announcement that your captures are stored for 14 days on SAE's cloud services in order to make them available to you via the PlayStation app. So that's how that works. And then I guess the older stuff rotates out and the newer stuff rotates in after, stuff happens in the 14 days.
But then can you... I assume you'd be able to redo it so you can add your older stuff back in.
I would assume there's some way to re-trigger something to force it back into there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because I was concerned that maybe there was hey, all this is going to be uploaded to the cloud. You've still only got 5 gigabits of data.
Yeah. So by the way they word it just makes it sound like there isn't a limit on the size. It's just 14 days.
Side note, that would be a good addition as well. If you got the more expensive plan, you get more cloud space data on the PS Plus thing. I mean,
do you reckon you need more? Is your cloud data?
No, but I'm sure I barely play any games, so I mean, and if you're gonna be downloading all these games, you're gonna have save files for all those. It's gonna all add up. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. If this is coming out, and one of the features of the thing was unlimited storage for game clips, I'm sure that would be a selling point for a lot of people. As far as save file storage on PlayStation Plus, I don't know if that'll ever run out. There was a point there where I was running out of space, back in the PS3 days, where we had a gig or something like that, and then ever since they increased it to 100 gig or whatever we're at now, and I've got a fuck ton of save files, so I think I'm not even half, so yeah, I'm good. But yeah, I'm keen for this update. I think this is good because obviously, I like sharing a good clip on the socials. I enjoy being able to do that on my phone. I enjoy the fact that you shouldn't have to fuck around. If I save a clip, I get off my PlayStation, I get into bed, it's just syncing in the background, pull out my phone, it's there, or you get to work or wherever you head in town, you're I should share that thing that happened this morning that I saved a clip of. And you're but I forgot to upload it to the cloud first, because I like that part's taking out of the equation, because when you have to forcibly share from console to mobile and pick up your mobile and share, it's okay, so many steps, but I like that it's just automatic. That's good. So hopefully we'll get it this month, because when that story said next month, it meant this month. It meant March. We're in March now. America's rolling out last month, so in February. And then on the PlayStation blog, they had a thing that came out last week. It was just a Spider-Man, X-Men, Wolverine update thing. Nothing super exciting, but I did feel like it was worth pointing out that they 100% confirm, even though I don't feel surely most people thought this was going to be the case, but Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine are PS5 exclusive games. They will not be on PS4 as well, so that means Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales is the last of these games that will be on PS4, and then these ones you'll have to have PS5. Marvel Spider-Man 2, 2023 game apparently. That still seems very fast to me, but I don't know. Do you reckon they'll hit that? 2023, sorry, next year?
Yeah. Insomniac's weird. They'll just pump out games.
I don't know how.
They're a massive studio with a bunch of people there.
It's crazy though. I mean, they had Ratchet and Clank.
And I mean, New York has been built. The web slinging has been built. It's just implementing it in new ways, I think. So, as long as the base is there, the foundation or whatever, it's not like you have to build a new city from scratch.
True. And another thing I pointed out in this, where I pulled some quotes from, was they said, "We're thrilled to continue the journey of both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in their most epic single-player adventure yet, which destroyed all my hopes and dreams of a co-op sort of part of experience. The game." Yeah. So, it obviously, by the way they word it, you'll play as both of them in the game. I presumably it'll just switch.
No confirmation if you're going to be playing as Mary Jane, though.
No Mary Jane confirmation, no. But no confirmation Mary Jane's even back from wherever she went at the end of the game. I don't remember.
It's true, they don't list Laura Bailey
at all in the cast, no. they missed Yuri Lafale, Najee Jeddah reprised their roles, Peter Parker, Miles Morales. Then they announced that Tony Todd will be the voice of Venom in the game. He's the most known for playing Candyman in the original Candyman films. Even though spoilers, he does have an appearance in the most recent Candyman film as well. Sorry?
No, sorry. In Nia DaCosta's Candyman.
Nia DaCosta's Candyman. Yeah.
As it was always called.
Yeah. And then Wolverine, they said it's like very, very early. Very early development. Don't expect it. So that's still probably some time away. And who knows? They could be working on something that will actually release.
But I think the interesting there is the Miles Morales creative team is working on Wolverine.
Yeah. Very similar.
Oh, yeah. Very similar, very, very similar origin stories of a kid whose best friend turns to a supervillain. I
do appreciate in the PlayStation blog post that they're talking about people working on, instead of just being like, we at Insomniac are working on this now. We at Insomniac are working on this.
Random people.
Thing. It's like they're like, no,
it's the ongoing thing of like, big creatives are like important people. Like people who actually do stuff is like, it is very much going that film TV way that.
I think it's also
executive producer means something still.
It's just deserving. It's like,
people care about directing.
They say that. So Brian Inahara, and then Ryan Smith, the creative director and game director on Marvel Spider-Man 2, and they are the people who worked on the first Marvel Spider-Man. And then as you said, Brian Horton and Cameron Christian will be the creative director and game director on Wolverine, and they were the two heads on Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So I just think it's less like people trying to make everyone be the next Neil Druckmann or Hideo Kojima. It's more that thing of like people make the games. Like let's move towards a world where if you say like a Christopher Nolan directed this movie, like okay, cool, Christopher. I want games to move more in that direction of. You're like, this is the creative director of this game's this person who also creative directed on Spider-Man and whatever else. You're like, cool. Like, I really like their games. So that's exciting. So I think instead of just like Insomniac, and it's like, it's the whole thing with the Telltale Games thing where it's like, Telltale Games, the Wolf Among Us 2 is coming out. I'm like, yeah, but no one from Telltale is doing that. Like,
or very few.
Or like, there's a couple of people, but none of the head, like, or the main people that made it. That original Wolf Among Us are there. So people look at it and go, Telltale, but it's not. The Verge writes, PlayStation's Twiddle Metal series will be a comedy on Peacock. So they continue. Sony's Twisted Metal TV series, an adaptation of the video game series starring Falcon actor Anthony Mackie, will debut on the Peacock streaming service and is officially labeled as a comedy. Early last year, we heard the vehicular combat theme show was in the works and being produced by Will Arnett and helmed by Michael Jonathan Smith. On Monday, we learned that each episode of the PlayStation production show will be 30 minutes and will attempt to make audiences laugh. It's understandable if your memory of the Twisted Metal video games is a bit hazy. The first one was released in 1995, and we haven't got a new one since 2012. As a refresher, they're mainly centering on driving around heavily armored cars and trying to defeat each other who are doing the same. One of the game's mascots is a terrifying clown with a flaming head who drives an ice cream truck. It seems like he'll be featured as a character given Peacock's synopsis of the show, which is Twisted Metal, a half-hour action TV series based on the classic PlayStation game series, is a high-octane action comedy based on an original take by Reet Reese and Paul Wernick, Deadpool Zombieland, about a motor-mouthed outsider offered a chance at better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. With the help of a trigger-happy car thief, he'll face savage marauders driving vehicles of destruction and other dangers of the open road, including a deranged clown who drives an all too familiar ice cream truck. What do you make of all this, Ash?
Seems what I kind of expected. I don't think they were going to do a grim, darkened focused version of Twisted Metal. I thought it was going to be like kind of, especially with the people involved. I think the tone of Zombieland and Deadpool is probably what we're going to get from this show. So this isn't surprising. I guess the 30-minute thing is kind of surprising, but it is on the streaming service, so it could be
will they drop
40 minutes depending on what the episode is. So
does Peacock drop everything at once? Like, I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Oh, some things they do, some things they don't.
Okay.
I think that's the thing that concerns me because Peacock might not be around very long. You know,
where would it go then?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I know. I feel like of all the streaming services in America, at least, Peacock is the weakest, like performance-wise.
Where does Peacock come here in Australia? I forget.
A lot of the Peacock comes to Stan, but then some comes to
Binge.
Other places.
What are Peacock?
Yep, some to Binge.
I think some's to Binge, right? What?
It's like Rutherford Falls was a big one.
So Yellowstone.
Oh man, that's a huge.
Yellowstone's on. Well, that new series is on Paramount. I thought. Or is that? Or am I thinking something else?
Yeah, I think that. Well, technically, there's a Paramount. Yeah.
Okay. Bel Air's on Stan, the new one.
Yep.
One of Us is Lying, I think's on Stan.
That's on Stan.
Real Housewives, I don't know. Wolf Like Me, that's Stan. Yeah, so it seems like the majority of it's Stan. So if you want to get ready for Twisted Metal, I'm going to say Dr. Death, that's Stan. Yeah, all right. So AP Bio, Stan, I think.
Yeah, it was on Stan.
Yeah. All right.
So then it came to Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say put your money on Stan being the place to watch the Twisted Metal series when it releases. There is not a date currently, however. This year is the go. This year, this thing will be releasing. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it, try it out. I can't say it like particularly interests me like heavily. I don't have like some strange love for the Twisted Metal games, and the Anthony Mackie starring in this is a little bit of like, I don't know, he seems miscast at least. Like my general, I don't know. Like I can't picture him in a Deadpool, Zombieland-esque sort of crazy comedy thing with a killer clown chasing him around, trying to stop him from delivering a package. Like I can't picture Anthony Mackie in that role, but we shall see how it goes. But yeah, interesting. The year of PlayStation productions continues. I mean, Uncharted is a big success, at least financially. So
financially, yeah.
PSVR for the players.
All right, in PlayStation VR news, we got our first look at the headset finally. So on the PlayStation blog, they wrote up a post showing that when they were designing the PS5 console, that they had the PSVR2 in mind. They share the same secret thousand of tiny PlayStation symbols with them included on the front and back bands of the PSVR2 headset. Otherwise, it sort of just looks like your typical, to be honest. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, it looks good, right? Do you reckon? Like, how would you?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as
it looks like a VR unit for the PS5 generation.
Yep. That's probably the best way to describe it. I don't feel like there's anything super shocking, crazy about it.
I don't love, it looks like it's got 4 screws in the front. And that's the only thing that I don't love.
That's the 4 cameras.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what that is. So it doesn't have screws, they're the cameras. So that's how you get away without.
Really? They couldn't have come up with some sort of white lenses?
I don't no. But yeah, for people who are like, why isn't there cameras on the front? Because you don't have to plug a camera into this one. Like it uses the cameras on the front to track what's around you and everything else. So you don't need a camera pointed at you.
I guess we'll have to wait like an extra 18 months after it releases for the black version to come out.
Yeah, I wonder if they will. That'd be weird. I mean, they didn't do 2 colors of the PS VR headset, but and then follow up Road to VR.
Maybe there'll be faceplates on these things.
No, I hope not.
You can remove that white section and you can put it in a different color.
No,
at least on the front.
Road to VR World. It's widely thought that PSVR2, Sony's next-gen VR headset for PlayStation 5, is expected to release sometime in the last half of 2022, which could position it as a pretty tempting gift for the holiday season. Now, a report from noted PSVR leaker, PSVR Without Parole, alleges the headset will launch instead in early 2023. YouTuber PSVR Without Parole is known for having accurately leaked some PSVR2 specs ahead of the official announcement by Sony, citing what the channel claims as credible sources. PSVR Without Parole now maintains Sony may launch PSVR2 sometime in Q1 2023, which is owed to the fact that the PS5 still and will continue to be very hard to come by. We haven't independently confirmed these claims, so we're suggesting areas take it with a grain of salt. As noted by PSVR Without Parole, so if Sony wants to maximize its PSVR2 install base, it needs to get more PS5s into more hands. Earlier this month, Sony revealed they had sold 17.3 million PS5 consoles up until the end of 2021. Despite high demand, the ongoing chip shortage caused by the recent global manufacturing slowdown has seen the company readjust its 2022 sales forecast from 14.8 million down to 11.5 million. So, yeah, could be early 2023. Still could be the end of this year. I don't know. How are you feeling? How are you feeling with the fact, I mean, they shown us the headset. You know, they keep, like, breadcrumbing out information, you know, every couple months. PS blog posts. Here's the controllers. Here's a game that's coming. Here's Horizon's a thing. Here's what the headset looks like, you know, like... How are you feeling as far as release date for this thing goes?
Yeah, 2023 makes the most sense. You know, it's probably a good idea. Like, try and get that this year's Christmas stock up, and like get a bunch of units into houses this year, and then next year you can launch with the biggest possible player base. Okay.
Maybe they're playing it by ear. Maybe they're just waiting to see how.
Maybe they're waiting until you hit a certain number.
And then, I mean, I don't know. I guess they got to go. Well, I don't know. Could they already have this thing in manufacturing? And like somehow? Or surely would probably know if it was being manufactured, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's hard to say. I feel like if it launched early next year, it would probably release around, I guess, nowish. Maybe late February, March. Would probably be when they would end up doing that. So either way, and then if I was going to launch it in late 2022, it would have to be around that November time. So it's not like there's much difference between late 2022 or early 2023. It's like they're both around the same. It's fine. So either way, I think it's coming up like within this thing will be coming soon. What do you reckon it's going to cost? Australian dollars. What do you reckon?
Like $500 to $600 probably.
I'm gonna say it's cost. I'm going $6.99.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much is the console?
I think it's like the same, or around that, isn't it? Or $7.49.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So. PS5 price Oz. $74.99. Yeah, $749.95. So, and the digital one's $599.95. So, yeah, I'm going $6.99 for the headset. I think it's high tech. Like they've put shit in here that makes it like, and they obviously have to a degree to stick out in the VR market and whatever else, and they want it to be successful. But I also just don't think they can I don't think they will sell the PSVR headset at a major loss and rely on the games like they will for other things like consoles or whatever. So I'm going $6.99 currently where I'm at. And I would put my money on it. And by that, I mean...
start putting your money aside, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Start putting your money aside. You know, if you've got between here and, let's say, February, March. What's that? How many months is that? You got, like, 7, 8, 9... You got 9, 10 months, maybe? What's that? 9, 10 divided by 700?
It's like...
About $70 away?
Yeah. 70 months a month.
$70 a month? Easy. Dylan's financial advice brought to you by Platinum Explosion, the #1 PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. Subscribe now. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you would like to listen. Wink noise.
We are not financially exposed. You should not listen to us for any financial advice. We're not liable for any money you lose in.
Blue Canberra. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. Let us know any comments, questions, concerns you have, or financial advice you have for us or anyone else listening to the show by either tweeting to us or heading to explosionnetwork.com/discord. If you liked this episode and thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page, explosionnetwork.com/support, to drop $1 over there, or $70 a month, and you can pay for my PSVR. Or no, actually don't do that. So put $70 aside for yourself. Give us $1 a month. Hey. Until next week, remember, every trophy counts.